It is out of small things that big things are made. In the trajectory of things, at the start, just a very little deviation is required for missing the course or going off the course.
So then, from where comes the tendency to start offsetting in the wrong direction?
From misplacing what this life is. That's why our civilization is a rotten affair. And some of our mystics told us that repeatedly for a long time. But there is a lot of course, beauty there in the world, continuously, because that's the world. And it is very confusing, because we don't see that. It takes someone who completely can have independent perspective. When our perspective is constantly biased, we cannot see clearly. We cannot see clearly. So in other words, it's not such a clean affair, easy affair either. It's not going to be easy. Someone who talks about this new age, suddenly, woof, and the world is going to be different. There are tendencies, these tendencies. It's just as difficult as growing up. On an individual level, growing up is difficult, but on a collective level. So it's not going to be an easy growing up. It's very also a cop-out to just blame the negative tendencies or like evil versus goodness, because it's also misconception, misperception. There's nothing wrong with evil. Nothing wrong, as long as it is in balance. As long as we have a tap on it. As long as there is essentially an ability to hover above the tendencies that otherwise can be unchecked. Because they're there. It's part of the universal setup. That's the tower. Eternal will.
Hence the importance of vigilance.
Yes, but vigilance is in relation to this, yes, what we do, how we respond, thoughts we have, and so forth. But here is a qualitatively different affair we're speaking about. Is that balance is required. That universal balance can only be achieved when there are enough heartbeats that beat in unison. When there is enough coherence in the world, then evil is no longer a problem. These tendencies still are, because that's what totality of existence is. You see? The wise man doesn't rush to change the world. You know, the earth is slowing down. I'm going to create something that will help to speed it up. What would that be? There's a tremendous power in nature to renew itself. We constantly want notion of calamity to take our attention from what we do. That's what real definition of Dharma. To understand why we're here in a human form. To understand why consciousness having this human experience. Because it matters. A lot is happening. It's a mutual affair. It's neither or. That's a biblical for you has been put to take care of the garden. Because it's in the capacity, it's in our capacity to take care by virtue of maintaining the balance.
So when Krishna says that he will return when Adharma prevails, that also has to return in each of us.
Yes, of course. That's what Krishna consciousness, yes, exemplifies. Of course, the scripture always has several levels, at least 3. And the deeper meaning of all scriptures is in relation to deep internal processes that we undergo. So the whole dialogue is not the dialogue of so-and-so with so-and-so, it's the dialogue of the, we could say, the self with the self. And the despondency of Arjuna literally exemplifies the despondency of that individual consciousness which no longer knows what's right, what's wrong. Because that's what makes Arjuna despondent on the field of action. Where as a Kshatriya, he's meant to fight and exercise and perform his skills of what he learned. But he's incapable of doing that. Because not being confused as often being portrayed, but actually simply not knowing what is right and what is wrong. But his argument is very human, highly evolved argument. It's a consideration. He sees no point in killing. He sees no point in all this bloodshed. He recognizes in both sides of the army dear people to him. So the state of Arjuna, it's the state of the most evolved individuality. So the first yoga, the yoga proceeds from the despondency. From the despondency, from the realization that no matter how evolved I am in terms of this setup, I'm clueless what's right, what's wrong. Please, Lord, guide me. Before that, it was just a chit-chat. He's just talking, and then, we know very well that Krishna was kind of ignoring him. Like, okay, Arjuna's just talking this, talking that. Because he's talking still from the point of view of he has a body here to chat. Yes, Krishna is his friend. But only when this act of despondency took place and he puts the weapon down, please guide me, because I do not know, I cannot see. Anyway.